My name is Alex, and if there was ever any question about my standing in the family hierarchy, the day I saw the document obliterated all doubt. It wasn't a sudden, tearful confrontation where my parents confessed. No, the truth ambushed me entirely by sheer, brutal coincidence. This whole agonizing chapter started a few months ago. I was at the house, the same house I'd been practically funding for the last 6 years. The relentless mortgage payments, the endless grocery bills, the emergency plumbing fixes. I was the invisible scaffold holding their life together. Meanwhile, my sister, Chloe, floated through existence doing absolutely nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean utterly and completely parasitic. No job, no ambition, just waiting for the world, and apparently our parents, to spoon-feed her everything. That afternoon, I was reluctantly helping my mom sort through a mountain of financial clutter. They simply couldn't or wouldn't handle their own paperwork. Mom had asked me to scan a stack of documents, legal filings, insurance forms, the usual tedious stuff, and my mind was completely elsewhere until I saw it. A beige folder, tucked innocently beneath a utility bill, labeled in Dad's precise handwriting. Last will and testament, C&A Thorne. I won't lie. Curiosity was a cold, sharp spike. I was the one paying for the roof over their heads, the food in their fridge. Didn't I have the right to know how my 6 years of sacrifice were being acknowledged? So I opened it. And that's when the world tilted on its axis. The words were a physical blow to the stomach. Everything. The house, the retirement savings, every last asset, all bequeathed to Chloe. Not a single meaningful mention of me. Just a sterile line about loving both their children equally. Equally? They made sure their fragile princess would inherit a fortune, while the son, who kept them solvent, didn't even merit a footnote. A fool. I felt like a monumental, pathetic fool. I had been bending over backward, depleting my own savings, ensuring their comfort, while they were secretly arranging a future where I was tossed aside like a spent receipt. And Chloe? She wasn't just lazy. She was a master manipulator. She convinced them she deserved it all. Maybe it was a baby of the family card. Maybe it was her manufactured helplessness, but they had made their choice. My hands were shaking, a mixture of cold shock and volcanic rage. Had they always seen me as their free financial shield? With zero return on investment? Did my efforts ever truly matter? I must have been sitting there for an eternity, staring at the unforgivable pages, when my mom walked in. "Alex, what's taking so long, honey?" I didn't try to hide it. I stood, holding the document like an indictment, and looked her dead in the eye. "So this is the deal," I said, my voice unnervingly quiet. "Everything to Chloe. After everything I've done for you." Mom's face drained the color, but then she sighed, that condescending sigh that implied I was overreacting. "Alex, it's not what you think. Honestly, it looks crystal clear to me." I snapped. "I pay your bills, fix your problems, and she does nothing, yet you decided she's the only one who deserves security." Dad walked in, drawn by the tension. He looked away, shifting his weight. Instead of an apology or a justification, he just muttered the two weakest words in the English language. "It's complicated." That was it. No defense. Just a weak excuse and the silent expectation that I would put them down and return to my post as their personal ATM. I wanted to walk out right then, but I needed to hear the full betrayal. "Mom, tell me why." I demanded. She at least had the decency to look deeply ashamed, but her words were the sharpest cut of all. "Alex, sweetie, you don't need the inheritance. You have a great job. You're independent. Chloe, she struggles. We just have to make sure she's taken care of." That was the breaking point. They knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't struggling. They were enabling her laziness and rewarding her entitlement, all while justifying my dismissal as a favor to my own success. I took a deep, shuddering breath, my jaw clenched so hard it ached. I gently placed the will on the table. "Got it," I said, the eerie calm back in my voice. "Glad to know where we stand." I turned and walked out, ignoring their desperate, belated protests as I slammed the door on 6 years of servitude. They had made their decision. Now, it was time for me to make mine. I didn't go back. I didn't call. I cut the financial wire entirely. For the first time in years, the favor bank was closed. If the plumbing failed, they could figure it out. If they needed groceries, they could find the store. And if that terrifying mortgage bill showed up, it wasn't my problem anymore. The silence lasted about 2 weeks. They clearly thought I was just throwing a childish tantrum and would crawl back. But as the days passed and the financial aid dried up, the panic began. Then the first text landed. From Dad. The property taxes are due. That was it. No, how are you? No, we're sorry. Just a cold, transactional demand. As if I were a vending machine they could tap whenever they needed cash. I stared at the screen, a slow, cold amusement creeping over me. They truly believed they could demand money after declaring me disposable. I calmly typed my reply. I'm sure Chloe will handle it, since the house is hers and all. 5 minutes later, Mom called. I let it ring. Then a text. Alex, please don't be like this. We need to talk. Now they needed to talk. Now that reality was biting. I waited an hour before responding. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Live with it. Then Chloe decided to chime in. The second her name popped up, I braced myself for the entitlement. Dude, why are you such a drama queen? It's not a big deal. Just help them out like you always do. I nearly laughed. Not a big deal. I shot back. I think you got it covered, sis. You're the favorite after all. Her next text was pure gold. OMG, are you seriously mad about a will? Grow up, man, it's just money. Just money. Now that she was inheriting it, the staggering hypocrisy fueled my final reply to her. Then you won't mind using some of that just money to cover the mortgage, right? Silence. A few minutes later, my mom texted again, going full guilt trip mode. Alex, we are your parents. Family takes care of each other. We did so much for you growing up, and now you're just abandoning us. Abandoning them? I had spent years making sure they never had to struggle while they coddled Chloe. I wasn't falling for it. You made it clear I wasn't part of the family when you cut me out of the will. Now Chloe can take care of you. Dad's final text of the evening had me seething. We're not asking for much. Just enough to cover the mortgage until we figure things out. Don't be selfish. Selfish. I had been bailing them out for years, sacrificing my own future. And now, for standing up for myself, I was a selfish one. I clenched my jaw, took a deep breath, and typed back, No, I'm done. Then I turned off my phone. They had made their choice. They were going to live with it. The silence lasted just one day. I knew my parents wouldn't give up. The next morning, I woke up to a notification. A bank transfer request. It was from Mom. She had actually sent me a request for money, like I was some ATM. The amount, $3,500. I stared at it in disbelief. No message, no explanation, just a cold, shameless demand for the exact overdue mortgage amount. They weren't asking anymore. They were simply assuming I'd cave. I declined it without hesitation. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom. I let it ring. Then another text. Alex, I know you saw the request. Why did you decline it? I took my time before replying. Because it's not my responsibility. Try Chloe. Another call, declined. Then another text. We're going to lose the house if you don't help us. Now it was an emergency. After all those years of treating me like a walking wallet, they were finally facing the consequences. I typed back, maybe you should have thought about that before deciding I didn't matter. Dad chimed in. You're really going to let your parents become homeless? That one actually made me laugh out loud. The manipulation was so blatant. They weren't about to be thrown onto the streets. They just didn't want to dip into the savings they'd promised to Chloe. I ignored them for the rest of the day. That night, a text came from Chloe. Dude, just send them the money already. You're making this a bigger deal than it is. I clenched my jaw. This entitled little leech thought she could lecture me. I typed back, you mean the same money you're inheriting? Why don't you send it? Her response came fast. You know I don't have that kind of cash right now. Oh. so she couldn't afford it, but I was expected to drain my own accounts for her inheritance. I replied, "Guess you better figure out then, sis. You're the one they chose." No response. I went to bed feeling oddly at peace. But the next day, things escalated. I was at work when I got a call from my apartment's front desk. "Hey, Alex. Your parents are here." I nearly dropped my phone. "What?" She hesitated. "They're saying it's an emergency and that you won't answer their call. They showed up at my apartment." I took a deep breath. "Please don't let them up. I'm not expecting them." They're being kind of pushy." I clenched my jaw. "I don't care. They can leave." I hung up and immediately got a text from Mom. "We're downstairs." Open the door. "Just another demand." I didn't reply. Another text. "Alex, we're not leaving until you talk to us." "Fine." They wanted a show. I'd give them one. I grabbed my keys and stormed downstairs, my blood boiling. I was furious. The audacity to ambush me at my home. No apology, no warning, just a full-on intervention to corner their personal ATM. I yanked the door open. There they were, Mom, Dad, and of course Chloe, standing in a tight, judgmental formation. Mom went full theatrics. "Alex, finally, we need to talk." I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "No, you need to leave." She blinked, unable to comprehend. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." My voice was calm, controlled, and firm. "You don't get to just show up at my apartment demanding money. That's insane." Dad let out a sharp scoff. "Are you really going to let us lose the house over a petty grudge?" I let out a cold laugh. "Petty grudge? You mean the one where you decided I was good enough to pay your bills but not good enough to be in your will? That grudge." Mom gasped, clutching her chest. "Alex, that's not fair. We only did what we thought was best for the family." I tilted my head. "Best for the family? You mean best for Chloe. Just say it." Silence. A long, heavy silence. Chloe, who had been quiet, finally spoke up. "Look, man, I don't even want to be involved in this. I didn't ask for anything." I turned to her, finally letting loose. "No, you just sit back and take everything that's handed to you. You're 28 years old, Chloe. Get a damn job." Her face turned red. "Dude, what the hell?" I took a step closer. "You heard me. You want to inherit the house? Start acting like a homeowner. You want to be the golden child? Start paying their damn bills. I'm done being your personal bank." Dad's face darkened. "You're being selfish." I laughed a real, genuine laugh. "Oh, that's rich coming from you. You two decided that Chloe deserved everything and I deserved nothing. And now that it's time to pay the price for that choice, you're trying to manipulate me into fixing it for you? Not happening." Dad stepped forward, trying to loom over me. "Alex, we raised you, we fed you, clothed you, gave you everything. The least you can do is help us now." I looked him dead in the eye. "I already did for years. And you repaid me by cutting me out." Mom's voice sharpened. "We thought you'd be mature about this." I raised an eyebrow. "Mature? You mean quietly accept that I was betrayed and keep paying your bills? Because let's be real, that's what you wanted. We thought you'd understand." Mom's lip trembled. I exhaled, shaking my head. "Oh, I understand perfectly. I understand that I was never family to you. Just a paycheck." Silence again. A suffocating, undeniable silence. I stared at Mom for a long moment before answering her last plea. "We're family. Family takes care of each other." "Exactly," I said. "So, why didn't you take care of me?" I turned and walked back inside, closing the door behind me. I didn't even make it to my couch before my phone buzzed. A new text from Dad. "Wow. After everything we've done for you, you're really going to abandon us?" I smirked, typing back. "No, you abandoned me. I'm just finally accepting it." I hit send. Then I blocked their numbers. But I had no idea that blocking them was only going to make things worse. Less than a day later, I started seeing posts on Facebook. They immediately started airing their grievances, making themselves the self-righteous victims. Mom posted something about how she didn't raise her son to be so selfish and how true family helps each other no matter what. Dad chimed in. So-called fam should never turn their back. My son, who should be helping us in our golden years, has chosen to abandon us. He even tagged me, adding a passive-aggressive, I hope you're happy. But the real kicker came from Chloe. She shared a post brimming with falsehoods. Some people think that family is just about money. They're too wrapped up in themselves to realize that true love is about helping those who raised you. She even threw in a jab at me. I wish some people could learn what it really means to be family. That was it, my breaking point. They had turned this whole toxic mess around, making me the villain, the ungrateful, selfish son who didn't appreciate their love. I had to set the record straight. I opened my own Facebook account and started typing. I wasn't playing their game. I was telling the unvarnished truth. Here's what I wrote. I know I've been quiet, but I can't stay quiet any longer. My family is sharing things online that are simply not true. They portrayed me as the villain, the selfish one who refuses to help. I'm here to set the record straight. I've always helped my family. For 6 years, I've been the one funding their lifestyle, paying a mortgage, buying groceries, covering bills. But there comes a point where you can't keep giving without being respected. I've watched my parents favor Chloe, giving her everything, the house, the money, the attention. Meanwhile, I was expected to just keep giving without ever being considered an equal. When I found out they left everything to Chloe in their will, I realized how one-sided this entire relationship had been. They made it clear I'm just the one they can count on when things get rough, but never the one they actually value. I'm done. I'm not just some wallet they can pull money from whenever they need it. I deserve respect. I've earned the right to be treated like I matter, not just when they need something from me. As for Chloe, it's time for her to grow up. She's 28 years old, and she's never worked a day in her life. My parents have enabled her for so long. She's had plenty of time to get her life together, and now it's time for her to stand on her own 2 feet. To everyone following this drama, there's always 2 sides. Family is important, but it's also about mutual respect. I've given enough for a lifetime, and I'm not apologizing for taking a step back. This is me finally choosing myself. And to my parents, I wish you the best, but I am done being your doormat. I hit post. Instantly, I felt a sense of relief. For the first time, the world knew the truth. The reactions were instant. Friends, cousins, even former neighbors liked the post, sending me private messages of support. It felt so freeing. But then came the backlash. My parents and Chloe went ballistic. Chloe messaged me, "You're a traitor. You really had to air all our business out like this? You have no respect for family." Dad called me, practically yelling, "You've ruined everything, Alex. You regret cutting us off. You regret turning your back on your own family." But I didn't regret it. Not for a second. I blocked them all. I was done. For the first time in my life, I was free from the toxic grip they had on me. As the days passed, I could feel the weight lifting off my shoulders. I was done being treated as less than. I was done being the one expected to fix everyone else's problems. I finally had the freedom to live my own life on my terms. No, I don't feel bad for cutting them off. I deserve better. And from now on, I'm choosing to surround myself with people who appreciate me for who I am, not for what I can give them. It's time for me to move forward for good, and I will.